Richard Dawkins and Mehdi Hasan sat down for what was billed as a debate over a simple question: is religion a force for good or evil? Throughout the discussion, Dawkins argued that religion can be dangerous because faith encourages belief without sufficient evidence. Mehdi Hasan pushed back by pointing out that religion is not the only cause of suffering. Nationalism, communism, fascism, racism, and political ideologies have all produced unimaginable atrocities. He also argued that religion inspires charity, gives people meaning, comforts the dying, and motivates countless acts of compassion. It's an interesting discussion, and both men make points worth thinking about. But as I listened to the debate, I couldn't help feeling that they kept circling around what I think is the much bigger question. Before we ask whether religion is good or evil, shouldn't we first ask whether it's true? Because if a religion is actually true, then whether it's comforting or uncomfortable almost becomes secondary. And if it is not true, then the fact that it comforts people doesn't suddenly make it reality. To me, truth has to come first. Only then can we meaningfully ask whether that truth produces good or bad consequences. Now, why do I care so much about truth? Because our beliefs shape our decisions. Imagine your doctor tells you that you have a serious illness. You respond, I'd rather believe I'm perfectly healthy because it makes me feel better. Well, your comfort does not change reality. Or imagine your financial advisor tells you that your retirement savings are gone. You reply, I prefer believing I'm a millionaire. Again, reality doesn't bend to our wishes. The reason we seek truth is not because it's always pleasant. It's because reality eventually wins. The same principle applies to religion. If God exists, I want to know. If God does not exist, I want to know that too. If Muhammad received revelation from the creator of the universe, then I would genuinely want to know that, even if I found parts of Islam difficult. But if he didn't, then I don't want to spend my life believing something simply because it's comforting or meaningful. Truth has to come before comfort, and this is where I think the debate misses the mark. Whenever Dawkins criticizes religion, Mehdi Hasan responds by pointing out flaws elsewhere. Religion causes violence. Communism killed millions. Religion is not uniquely harmful. Science produced the atomic bomb. Nationalism starts wars. Religion inspires charity. All of those are fair points to discuss, but notice what happens. The conversation keeps becoming about whether atheism is perfect, whether science has all the answers, whether politics caused violence, whether religion has done good things. Yet I kept waiting for someone to answer the question that matters most to me. Why should I believe Islam is true? Not why atheism has unanswered questions, not why religion makes people happier, not why communism was terrible. Simply, why should I believe that Muhammad actually received revelation from God? That question barely gets addressed. One of the most memorable moments in the debate comes when Richard Dawkins asks Mehdi Hasan whether he really believes Muhammad flew to heaven on the Buraq, a winged creature described in Islamic tradition. Mehdi does not hesitate. He says yes. And I actually respect that honesty. He isn't trying to reinterpret it or water it down. He says he believes in miracles. But the obvious follow-up question is, why? What evidence convinced you that this extraordinary historical event actually happened? That's a question I wish the debate had spent far more time exploring. Because once we're talking about miracles, we're no longer talking about politics or sociology. We're talking about history. We're talking about reality. We're talking about whether an extraordinary supernatural event actually occurred. And extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Think about it this way. Suppose someone walked up to you tomorrow and said, the entire world was flooded. Every human being died except one family. Every species of animal lived together on a giant boat. Lions peacefully coexisted with lambs. Predators stopped behaving like predators. Humanity restarted from a single family. You'd probably respond, wow, that's an incredible story. Then you'd naturally ask, what is your evidence? Now suppose the answer was, it's written in my holy book. I think most people would instinctively say, you can't be serious. Not because books have no value. Books can absolutely be historical evidence. But for a claim of that magnitude, I'd expect something extraordinary. I'd expect evidence that is as remarkable as the event itself. If a worldwide flood really destroyed nearly all life on Earth, I would not expect evidence to be ordinary, ambiguous, or endlessly debated. I'd expect something unmistakable, something that leaves very little room for plausible natural explanations. That's the standard I apply to every extraordinary claim, not just Islam. Every claim, whether it's Noah's flood, the resurrection of Jesus, Muhammad's night journey, or any other miracle, I'm not asking for absolute certainty. I'm asking for evidence that matches the magnitude of what's being claimed. Toward the end of the debate, Dawkins says something that, in my opinion, summarizes his worldview beautifully. He says he cares more about truth than comfort. On that point, I agree completely. Because if something is true, I want to believe it, even if it challenges me. And if something is not true, I do not want to believe it, even if it comforts me. That, to me, is the foundation of honest inquiry. So after watching nearly an hour of Richard Dawkins and Mehdi Hasan debate whether religion is good or evil, I walked away asking a different question. Not whether religion comforts people, not whether religion inspires charity, not whether religion has sometimes caused violence, but something much simpler. Before we debate whether religion is good or evil, should we not first establish whether it's actually true? Because once we know the answer to that question, every other discussion becomes much easier.